shout out to Hoop Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon. Shout out to
Hoop Jargon.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, man? Your boy Hoop Jargon back with another video, man. And I got an interview coming later today with Coach AB from Baylor University. But I wanted to put this out because my boy Between the Game Sports made a reaction video, which I didn't watch it because I didn't watch the interview yet. So I wanted to come in with a fresh opinion about all this, man. So again, shout out to my boy Between the Game Sports. And shout out to New Media, as always, man. Shout out to Christian G showing up bright and early. My guy, appreciate you. So y'all know how many y'all gonna be on, but I'm gonna react to it from the very first time. I like to form my own opinions. I didn't look at everybody else what they had to say. And so without further ado, let's get that share screen going. We're gonna watch it together, man. And I'm just gonna give the opinions from what I see. Dr. Payne said that Guervo. Oh boy, you crazy. You're a crazy young man. All right. Google Chrome tab. Let's get it. Hopefully these freaking advertisements don't mess stuff up. So here we go.
How much did our argument against the Clippers drive you to ultimately lead the Warriors?
I like first how they just getting straight into it. They're not fluffing. I like that. Dre was agreeing something else, man. All right, come on, YouTube. Get your mind right.
Hey, what's up, man? I appreciate you coming on. It's my show, Chips. Obviously, it stems from exploring that chip on your shoulder. What drives us and makes us who we are and why we're here today. So thank you.
No doubt, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
So take me on the journey. Coach Brown, your first coach. How was that and what did he teach you?
He taught me the fundamentals. I mean, it felt like fundamentals of the game, but it was like truly fundamentals of life. What it's going to take for me to survive as a human being, a maturing human being. He put this game in front of me, told me the fundamentals of it, the balance of the game, the history of it. I just started to understand that for one, but also start to see life a little bit clearer too. It was one of those special times in my life that I always revert back to.
You hear the cliche saying of everything you do at game speed. To me, that is the most cliche statement in the world.
Yeah.
Except for when it comes to you, you actually do every rep game speed. Does that come from him or does that come from somewhere?
Oh, I'm gonna say this. That is a very, very true thing. If you play ball on a higher level, you know that. Let me put it this way. In high school, you can get away with just kind of just going through drills. But when you get to the collegiate level and above, like you got to play. They say, game speed. Like you don't come in and just start working on your handles and you just kind of just, it's fine. I never thought of this in years. But good coaches make you do that at game speed because you don't have the luxury of just lollygagging doing practice and then just turn it on like that. So, damn, that's crazy. That just resonated with me because I haven't heard that term in a minute. Because that's more behind the scenes work. That's not actual on court product that you're watching. Because obviously that's the game.
Well, yeah, he built the foundation and the cliche stuff. I mean, I am cliche. I'm simple, I'm efficient, I'm to the point. That's what my game is. And all the best stuff to me is cliche. So I just tried to approach every workout like a game, every game like a workout.
And then you go to high school and you went to several different high schools.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that then? And looking back on that, how do you feel about it now?
So back then, I didn't know it was any different. I was listening to my Coach Brown, my mom, my pops. Like, this was where the best competition was. So I would switch schools every year to the...
You know what? I've never heard him bring his pops up. That's interesting. I've never heard him bring his pops up. Nor does the media ever talk about his pops. Interesting.
Move up a level.
People have tried to make that connection of you being at several different high schools to now you being on 3 different teams. What do you say to that or those people?
Yeah, I mean,
No, that's cap. I've never heard nobody bring up. Y'all know I run a big ass sports group. I've never heard nobody say KD went from high school to high school to high school. Maybe in their world, they live in a different basketball world than us common folk. But I'm gonna call cap on that. I ain't never heard nobody criticize KD for that.
I mean, I feel as though at each spot, even in high school, my game was growing so fast. I need to be in a different environment to see how farther I can go.
And why Texas? In my opinion, Texas is a football school.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a football state. But underneath
Facts.
all of that,
Facts.
it's some incredible athletes on the basketball side. It was just a perfect situation. And then being in Austin, it was like, the city itself, it wasn't a normal college.
That's
thing.
facts.
It was like being in a major city. So it was.
Hey, and that's why a lot of UT athletes don't do well on the next level when they do so like phenomenally at UT because they're coddled like nowhere else, man. UT athletes get it real good, man, and they generally move back to Austin and be amongst that culture. Cedric Benson, the late great Cedric Benson, being one of them. He never could really leave Austin, man. He got treated so well, being one of the greatest running backs in UT history. He just couldn't shake it. And Draymond, he brings a good point too. When he went to Texas, Texas was not necessarily a perennial powerhouse, especially not a kid from Maryland. So that's a really good point. And because it was very weird that he chose UT of all places.
It's perfect.
I know growing up in Saginaw, for me, being the tallest kid, everybody always wanted me to play center. Mm-hmm. And I was fortunate enough to have my uncle who just taught me how to dribble and taught me guard skills. But I still always end up throwing at the center. Whereas you're 7 feet, and you'll never admit it, but you're 7 feet. You never played before in your life till you came to go to state, really. And
I played a little bit in college because I couldn't dribble that well, but I was still on the perimeter most of the time.
And when we went small, that's when you would play the 4. Whose idea was it, like, to never just stick you on the block because you were always taller than everybody?
Coach Brown and Coach Chucky,
I think this is a good discussion they're going into. But I will say, man, I'll stop the video. If y'all super chat, I'll stop the video and give you a personal shout out. I'm just saying. If not, I'm going to roll through the comments. So just want to put that out there. But no, I think they're going a good way because a lot of big men guys who are taller, you get stuck on the block. And it's funny how KD found his way to glory, as us big men call it, when you get off the block and get the chance to mix it up a little bit, playing the smaller position. So I think this is a good way it's going.
They would see me every day just running up and down the court, like no ball in my hand, just running around with kids. And they seen my agility outside, running, playing football and stuff. So they seen that I wasn't just a stiff. So
you calling me a stiff, all right?
Yes, sir. You stiff, homeboy.
And you're not even big, bro. You're like 6'6", like
big, 6'6" stiff.
Most guys that's tall,
I like Draymond though.
Can't really move at the same times. And I always wanted to be a point guard and shooting guard. I was just growing so fast. So some coaches did just stick me underneath the basket. But if I get a rebound, I go coast to coast. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If I shoot a jump shot here and there. So I was showing flashes, but it wasn't like this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I developed this over time.
I remember reading a statement where you said, I'm tired of being number 2. I was the number 2 pick. I was the number 2 player in the country. Where was that coming from? Like, and why did you feel that?
Yeah, because we had just lost in the finals. Mm-hmm. And I felt like we was right there every game. And people was like, man, good job. Like, y'all did great. Like, you guys are young. Y'all be right back. And I was like, I don't care about that. I wanted to win that series, and I want to win the championship. And that's where that came from. I was just people wanted me to accept being second so much. That was never my mentality ever. Always to win the game. And, I appreciated people, like, respecting my game, but I was like, I wanted more for myself. And at that point, that's how I was feeling.
First 9 years in OKC, and then you decide that you're leaving OKC, and you ultimately decide to come to the Warriors, knowing that the scrutiny would be there, knowing that, everybody would say the Warriors were this great team, but you still ultimately made the decision.
Oh, I got to say fair use. Got to get YouTube trained. Fair use.
Why was that? Was that driven by, I don't give a fuck what y'all think this is good for me? Or was that just...
Oh, okay. This is one of them kind of interviews. All right. I can get down with this. You know me, I'm friendly with the 4-letter words.
Was it strictly just a basketball decision?
It was a basketball decision, but I knocked down the like not giving a fuck ladder.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of knocked down 2 birds with 1 stone with that. But it was mainly
Draymond
I
opened the
felt
door
like
and
I
KD
was
kicked it
a
down
absolute
too.
perfect fit with what you guys were doing on both ends of the ball. And I knew my game had reached a point where I needed to really see what that looked like. And I thought that was just a no-brainer. I would do that shit a million times. And, you know, again, I didn't second guess at all. And I knew that's what I wanted to do when I was going into these meetings. But I really just had to confirm, go through the process. But like, I knew from watching the games, just looking at interviews, just seeing everything that y'all are about. It's like, that's the way I wanted to play. And that's the way I need to go to, you know, continue to keep getting better as a player. So once I tunnel vision on that, I knew everything would come afterwards, and it was just me going through that experience and see how I was going to deal with it. And shit, it went perfect. You didn't do 3 years there, 2 championships, would have been 3 had you not got hurt easily. But in my opinion, after year 2, you were over it. You were done with it, and you were.
All right, now we get into the inside. Now the interview has started, as it were. So yeah, there we go.
On to the next thing, but we had the opportunity to three-peat, and in my mind, what brought you back to Golden State for year 3 was just the opportunity to three-peat, but it didn't feel right for you no more. Am I right, wrong? That's it.
Hey, y'all excuse this damn train coming through.
Interesting because a lot of people, that's just a talk around me the last 2 years, and I get what people are saying because before I got to Golden State, I was just happy-go-lucky, like just bright-eyed to the experience, not knowing what was ahead. By the first year, I knew exactly what we needed to do in order for us to win. Every night, I knew what my role was to the T. Teams before, I didn't quite know what my role was every night. Did I have to be the scorer? Did I have to be the facilitator? Did I have to get other guys involved? Did I have to make threes? I knew exactly what my role was, and I locked on it with so much focus and determination to not fuck around every day. And you've seen it. From workouts to practices, shoot-arounds, film, I was super locked in and made people on the outside look at me like, hold on, is he enjoying this? When I dive into something like that, with that level of focus, I don't want to be anywhere else in life. That's the most enjoyable experience I ever had after that first one. If that was the case, I wouldn't have played 78 games that year. I would have just waited to the end of the season and try to play in the playoffs. I played every game. I went hard every day. I cared about every matchup, no matter who was on the floor. Just my look didn't feel as like energetic or opening as it was before. And I liked that. I liked that I was closed off and focused on my work. I just maybe should have communicated that with more people who were interested in knowing what I was going through, but I had the most fun locking in and completing the task. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew we was going to win.
That's like that Kobe Bryant mentality when the work makes a new level of fun. There's some players, like he was mentioning, how he just was happy-go-lucky at first. And I think that's more or less like your Dwight Howards of the world, who never really just locked in and just like kill mode. You know what I'm saying? You just understand that, you know, you live life. I mean, and I can't blame you, you know, on a holistic level of just being blessed and being happy of being a part of one of the most elite groups in the world, which is the NBA. And then not only that, being one of the best players in the NBA. And for some people, that's enough. I played with several guys, collegiate level, overseas. They just happy to be on the team. And, you know, anything else that came was extra, you know what I mean? And so when you go to that Kobe mode is when it's like, when you get obsessed with the work and then you're only happy when you complete the task. That's a whole nother level. A lot of people never achieve. I never achieved that. I'll be real with you all the way. I'll keep it all the way a stack. So I do think that's a very, very telling comment that he went to that place, you know what I mean? And telling you, I guess, some insight about how he thinks. And then kept talking about stack up against the king, man. That dude been stacking up since he's been stacking up, man. I ain't trying to hear that shit. But I appreciate your commentary either way. Let us keep moving forward.
Every night. And it's rare to get to that point as an NBA player. Yeah. Knowing you're going to win every night. So I just try to focus in and stay in the moment.
Shout out to EJ, man. What's up, bro?
And for my own personal sanity, because I've been getting my ass kicked ever since you left. So just for my own personal sanity, how much did our argument against the
again, the interview has started now. This is why we all here. Go ahead.
Clippers drive you to ultimately lead the Warriors?
It wasn't the argument. It was the way that everybody, Steve Kerr, act like it didn't happen. Bob Myers and tried to just discipline you and think that would put the mask over everything. I really felt like that was such a big situation for us as a group. The first time we went through something like that, we had to get that shit all out. I remember watching The Last Dance, and when Scotty didn't go into the game, the whole team in the locker room said, Scotty, that was fucked up that you did that. We needed that. We just needed to throw all of that shit out on the table and say, yo, Dre, okay, like, that was fucked up that we even had to go through that. Let's just wipe our hands with that and go finish the task. I don't think we did that. We tried to dance around it. I just didn't like how all of that, just the vibe between all of that, it just made shit weird to me.
And you know what? Okay, here's when my commentary about to start getting real. I'm back on my Cap shit. This is Cap, and here's why. Both of these two dudes are, and no offense to the single mothers out there, are raised by that single mother matriarchy energy. Meaning that they are emotional. Both of these dudes are very emotional. I think we all can understand. And these two dudes I like. I've been a Draymond Green fan since Michigan State. And I love the fact that he got to prominence because I like dudes who put the work in. KD just was a natural great scorer. I'm a UT fan, so that was just, it's a given I'm going to like KD. And KD happens to be my favorite player in the NBA. But they both are mama's boys. And what you generally see is mama boys struggle being men in intense situations, meaning they're more likely to do the fuck you kind of situation instead of just like, listen, it may take you a day. Like, listen, man, that shit happened, but we here for a goal. Let's move forward. So you can't blame Bob Myers. You can't blame Steve Kerr when y'all two were two active participants in that locker room. It was y'all duty to do that. Because you know who ain't never had no goddamn tiffs in that locker room who happen to be arguably a better duo than y'all two is Clay and Steph. Why? Because Clay and Steph were raised by men, NBA men at that, but they have a more even keel personality. So and I'm not saying they didn't disagree on some shit, but y'all two emotional dudes. So two emotional dudes, eventually this happens. Because y'all emotional. I bet both of y'all are passive aggressive. I bet both of y'all kind of dismiss shit that should be handled right then because it's done. You understand what I'm saying? And that's just what happens when you have those personality types. That's the kind of shit that happens when things go left or aren't perfect. So I got to call Cap on this because Michael Jordan was, again, a dude raised by he said it about Scottie Pippen. I'm not sure about Scottie Pippen's family dynamic. I know he's from like rural Arkansas. I do know that. But I'm not sure about what his mental makeup was. But as far as y'all two, that was not Bob Myers and Steve Kerr's job. Steve Kerr's job to moderate over that. Y'all two grown-ass men. Y'all should have sat down and did that shit. That's y'all fault. All right, let me get some of these comments quick. This is I'm sorry video. Please come back, Katie. The King about to get fire raised. Yeah, all right. Y'all LeBron fans are hilarious, man. All right, so I agree, bro. Very emotional. They just too emotional. Like KD can't let two bad comments go on Twitter without him hopping on that. Bro, you're way bigger than that. Like you are literally the best basketball player in the world right now. And you and some little nerd, he got caught with that burner account. He just kind of, it appears. I get it. Sometimes like comments do sting, but you gotta understand, dog. You're the best in the world at what you do. You think Jeff Bezos responds to like entrepreneurs criticizing some of the moves he makes? You think Donald Trump gives a shit about the average person who gives a shit about, who comments on some of his failed businesses? No, he don't give a shit about what they say. Because why would he? Why would he? All right, we catch these comments. 47 says, yes, sir, man. Appreciate y'all. Facts, bro. You can tell when we're in I'm telling you. Even in this YouTube space, you can tell mama's boys because they fly off the handle like that. And whether they are necessarily right or moral with what they think a situation should have shook out as, they can't control themselves, or they draw hard line stances and they don't leave a lot of room for nuance. And that's cool. That's how you are. I can make it plain. And I'm about to make a podcast with this gentleman, my boy D Pope. We got into it and I caught myself and I was like, my bad, bro. And it was done. It was some shit that was about to go left, and it's done now. And we literally about to make a podcast together. But in this space, it can go crazy. And if you have that feminine energy, you'll just go scorch earth on everything. You'll just be like, all right, fuck all this. I ain't dealing with this person, that person. You're always going to make enemies. You're always going to make enemies, man. And it is what it's just a matter of time. So I think with this, I got to call cap on this, man. It's y'all job as two grown-ass men to resolve this and keep moving forward as a unit, because you know you got a bigger goal than just that situation when Draymond didn't pass you the ball and he waved you off and did his Draymond thing where he gets super emotional. So I'm going to call cap on that.
And I'd rather us be who we say we are. Family first. Communication is key. Like, we didn't show that, and that's what rubbed me the wrong way more than anything.
When we landed back from LA, I sat in Hazel was sitting in the car for an hour and 45 minutes. They pulled me in that room at Signature for an hour and 45 minutes, and they tried to tell me, you need to apologize. And I told them, I'll talk to Kay, but y'all aren't going to tell me what I need to say. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they went on.
All right, so now you're about to peer into the mind of a mama's boy. Now, he's not wrong, but when you overstand the bigger goal, you know what you got to do. In his mind, he don't want to get punked out by management who happen to sign your paycheck. So it's funny. Emotional dudes play this game like, oh, I ain't going to be controlled and nobody going to tell me what to do. Yet you'll go preside under somebody else's tutelage. Like, dude, you signed up for the Golden State Warriors in the National Basketball Association, AKA you have people to answer to, bro. So when the corporate brass, as it were, who pays your salary, tells you what you need to do, you say what you need to say to get out that room, and then you go rectify the situation. He, in his mind, wants to go tell them off. I'm going to tell the man what's up. They sign your paychecks. And that's why a lot of dudes, emotional dudes, really, they veer off, man, and it's very unfortunate to watch. And I'm being critical over a guy who I admire a lot, you know, because and one thing I always say, I can separate art from artist. I can love what you do on the court, but when I see some in-between shit, I'm going to call the shit out, because that what makes a man all he is. And to understand him, a man gives you better scope and perspective on what you're observing.
On for an hour and 45 minutes talking, saying a bunch of bullshit. And ultimately, they realized, all right, we're not getting through to him. We're going to try again in the morning. And so we met the next morning, and they said, all right, you slept on it. You ready to apologize? And I told them right then and there, I said, y'all about to fuck this up. I said, the only person that can make this right is me and Kay. And there's nothing that y'all can do, and y'all are going to.
So this just shows lack of scope. Man, listen. Draymond, listen to me good. The whole world watch y'all had that argument, bro. Everybody, and y'all are sensitive, so y'all look at what's being written in the press. So I know y'all didn't like what was being written about that situation. So the corporate brass, as it were, understands that you have to get in front of this kind of shit. Because what it does is it takes away the frenetic energy in the locker room. So when you go, you apologize, you do your little mea culpa, and you move on. You talk to KD on the side, and you move on. That way, it doesn't come up when y'all lose 2-3 games in a row. Well, it may be because of the argument between. You know they're gonna keep doing that goofy shit. So that just shows your lack of scope and looking forward. And that's what emotional dudes lack. Emotional dudes live in moment. And that's how Draymond Green thinks based on what he's shown to me. Let's move forward.
To fuck this up. And in my opinion, they fucked it up.
I think so too.
And
of course you do. You emotional just like him. Fair use, gotta say. I'm using this whole interview. Fair use.
They told me right then and there, like, we're going to suspend you for this game. I laughed in it, literally laughed.
Emotional dudes do not like barriers. Oh, man, this is classic emotionalism, man. Emotional dudes do not like to be told what to do, man. It's just like, because they don't understand that discipline, having things tight, projects forward better with presenting a project, an idea, an agenda, or what have you. You have to be on code, basically, in short. So you don't want to do this. Okay, there's a penalty for this. It's a slap on the wrist, a 1-game suspension. You did that to yourself in the finals. Game 5, remember when you could control yourself on LeBron? Now, granted, LeBron stepped over you, he basically tried to hold you. I understand that. But you could control yourself. You gonna kick up at him and do all this crazy shit, and you cost your team a championship. So this is what you do. So you already done it to yourself. You cost yourself a finals game. And now with this one, it's just more or less damage control. You wasn't willing to look forward and see what it was because you live in the moment. You live in the moment, Draymond Green. Sorry, bro. It is what it is.
In their face. And Bob said to me, he said, wow, that was not the reaction I was looking for or expecting. And I said, well, either I'm going to laugh in your face or I'm going to cuss you the fuck out. So you pick.
Tell me that don't sound like a woman. Tell me that don't sound like a woman. When you lay the rules down like, yo, this is what's going down. Tell me that's not an emotional woman response, bro. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest.
I'm going to choose laugh. So I think what you're doing is funny, and so I'm going to laugh. And so it's interesting to hear you say essentially the same thing that I told them that day. But
Kevin Durant didn't really say much of nothing, but I mean, y'all two are simpatico in the sense that y'all have matriarchal energy that you lead your thoughts in. So I don't think that's too far off, but he didn't really say anything.
And moving past that, kind of along those same lines, you've now played with Russ, who I think has an incredible chip on his shoulder that sometimes goes too far. Myself, who has a chip on my shoulder that sometimes.
Y'all know how I feel about Russell Westbrook. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, I'm a Laker fan too, so oof. Yeah.
Go too far. Kyrie, who has a chip on his shoulder that sometimes goes too far. And
I'm objective. I love Kyrie Irving, but Kyrie, he gets very aloof sometimes, man. And I wish he would rein that shit in a lot better. So I'm objective, even for the players I like and I don't like.
James, who has a chip on his shoulder that probably sometimes goes too far. And playing with all the guys that you play with that you could say, he probably go way too far.
We all go too far, bro.
Well, I'm going to say this. Management, again, bro, understands the optics of things. They understand to get in front of things and move in manly fashion. Why? Because their product is on the line. So the NBA is a business. At the end of the day, it's an entertainment-based business. So you have to basically, good organizations read the tea leaves and then they move accordingly. So whatever approach they had at first, it did not work. So they step back. Okay, here's the contingency plan. That's when they go out and admit fault, even though they don't mean it. Because, you got to consider how the fans perceive things, because fans are the lifeline of your business. So they may have went back and apologized, but it's not because they really felt that way. It's because they understand two emotional dudes. They didn't do what men who understand corporate structure do and just take the L, say what you say, and move forward. That's what men recognize, and then they move accordingly. So I gotta say that. I'm sorry, I gotta say that to basically go with your comment.
And we all got major chips on our shoulders. There's a million of us. Imagine a million people trying to run into this door right now. Somebody gonna get elbowed, kicked, pushed over. Like, we all trying to fit into a one-peg spot. 100 millions of us trying to fit into these 12, 15 spots on teams. So we got to have that chip on our shoulder. And I always appreciate that. Appreciated people that acknowledge that it's tough to make it to the league. And I had to kick up.
I tell you all the time, it's the 1% of the 1%. 1% of high schoolers go to the college level. 1% of collegiate athletes go to the NBA level. That's facts.
A lot of motherfuckers down to get here. I had to shun a lot of my friends and sacrifice a lot of the personal shit that I loved as a kid so I can get here.
There you go.
So we all of us naturally are underdogs, got chips on our shoulders because it's hard to make it to this point.
Tabernacle. You got to make sure your circle is right. So many players go back into the hood, to the neighborhood, want to be loyal to all these people that's going to be, my word from AB Stream, deleterious to your future, going to bring you down. You got to be cognizant of all that. And then Kwame Brown talks about this a lot too on his streams, man. A lot of not enough people. You talking about Steven Jackson at the time, talk about what you sacrificed to get to that level. I thought that was a great comment by KD.
person that went too far was always Draymond Green. I mean, to the point where I felt like you were trying to establish that you're not playing around. Like, you're not going to walk over me, even though I was a second-round pick and I'm undersized and I'm not as skilled as y'all want me to be, or I don't play the way y'all traditionally like for people my size to play. I felt that same way about Russell Westbrook because it's.
So here's the difference. You do that shit in practice. You do that shit where the cameras are not allowed to report. That's when you do that shit. That's what Jordan did. When Jordan punching teammates and shit, he did that off camera. Draymond Green's problem is he's too emotional. He does this in the public forefront, so you constantly have to cover for his shit. That's what the difference is. I'll give an example. When I was covering the Houston Texans back in 2015, I want to say, Bill O'Brien went like scorched earth on the media, on the Houston sports media. He's like, y'all turn your cameras off. So everybody had turned their cameras off. And he was like, and this came out later that there's just this secret diatribe, that's exactly what he was. He was like, you motherfuckers better not be reporting when I think Brock Osweiler just came to the team. He's like, if he throws an interception and it got tipped in the air twice and somebody caught it, you motherfuckers better not be reporting that he's playing bad at quarterback or what have you. And it was hilarious, man. Like, cause I didn't have a lot of media experience, so that was probably my second time covering the Texans. I wasn't ready for that. Like, I was like, oh shit. And then the ESPN radio caught wind of it, and everybody was talking around it and about it. But nobody had it filmed because he told everybody to turn their cameras off, and he made sure all the cameras were off when he said it. So a lot of this stuff goes on behind the scenes that a lot of people aren't privy to. So, but that's the way you do it, though. If you're gonna run some shit, you do it off camera so it can't be used against you in the broad spectrum. And that's why guys like Draymond, they too damn emotional to understand. Like, okay, you know what? I got your ass in the locker room. In the locker room, then you tear KD ass up. Or if KD felt that way, then you go like, nigga, pass me the goddamn ball. What the fuck you doing? That's when you do it. So emotional dudes, they struggle with the impulse control. And that's something both of these gentlemen need to work on going forward, man.
Story, I felt that same way about James Harden because I know his story from like when these dudes was kids, what they had to go through as everyday people, not just on the court. It's hard to make it through life every day. You know what I'm saying? Where some of these people come from. You know, so I started understanding that about people. I'm realizing like now I see why they show their ego, they show the pride that they have, they show the chip that they have on their shoulder because it's hard as shit to make it every day. You know what I'm saying? But you pushed it to the limit where it's like it's cool for me to be who I am and be and not apologize for it all the time. Because you know what I mean? You didn't mean no harm to anybody. But shit that you want it done, you want it done. And we all respected that. And we all kind of looked up to that as guys that come into the league and want to fit into the system so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, wanting to be a part of this whole thing. Then you realize you see dudes who just going by their own little pace. And it's like, oh, that's more so of my rhythm. You know what I'm saying? So a lot.
Yeah, and that's just animal kingdom stuff. You know who the alphas, who the betas, who the sigmas are in life. That's all that KD talking about.
One of the guys that I played with, from Russ to James to Kyle to Steph to Clay, they all kind of move to the beat of their own drum. That encourages a lot of people to do the same shit, not just basketball players, but people in general who just watch us. Dealing with everybody every single day, I start thinking like that. And I start seeing the beauty in all of this shit.
To watch you early on in your career, like you said.
I'm going to translate that in basketball world. You were a person who was emotional as shit, just like Russell Westbrook, but you still would give me the ball. That's what KD just said. Because I ain't gonna lie, I got inside information about Russell Westbrook that everybody loves him, don't love playing with him. And let's just say this person right here in this interview is one of the people who has off the record said this. Let's move forward.
Said you was the happy one. You was the kid that carried the backpack. Nike started a backpack line because you always, and you, to this day, you still carry a backpack all the time. And so there's this common misconception that you're not the kid that carries the backpack anymore. I still think you're the kid that loves basketball and carry a backpack.
Yeah.
But over the course of the years, your answers to the media, how you deal with the media has changed. Why is that? Is that
I mean, you can't stay a kid forever, Draymond. You Can't stay a kid forever.
Just who you grew into? Is that because of the way they act with certain shit? Where did that?
I felt like the media knew more than me. I almost had them on a pedestal of like, they got more history, knowledge of the game, they more experienced than me in this area of the NBA. So once I started to get more experience and realize like, oh no, they can never be what I am or know what I know or understand.
You know what? And shout out to my boy Fahara, man. I'm gonna start doing these more often because how I learn all this shit is because people in my Hoop Jargon group post this stuff, and then I get privy to it because I keep my head kind of buried in the sand. So I'm gonna start doing these things that people are really attached to because I always get it late. Always. I'm gonna start doing these live reactions because I think this is gonna be a slow build up, and I appreciate everybody who's here, man. You can be doing anything else and experience it with me and view it how I view it. So I'm gonna start doing these. A lot of people don't do live reactions; they do them like after the fact. I think I'm gonna do more of these. I appreciate y'all.
Understand it the way I understand it. Some of the questions, they didn't seem so intelligent to me anymore. People wanted to praise me more than I liked or hate me more than I liked, make a big deal out of so much other shit. And I was just like, this game is simple to me. So some of the stuff that y'all asking really doesn't move me the way it used to. I just, starting to see life different. I can see this game different. So
it's called maturing, KD.
Of course my answers and questions, about what goes on is going to be different too. So I just chalk that up to just maturity and experience.
There you go. There's the word, bro. It's called maturation, man.
And speaking of media, social media, obviously we were teammates when you got caught with the burner account. One thing I love about the burner account is everything that you said on the burner account, you just started to say on Kevin Durant's account.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like it, as most people voice. They don't like how you respond to some fans or how you respond to this, how you.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and project. This is about to be some mama's boy, me against the world banter they could probably gonna engage in the next few minutes. So yeah, this I already prepared y'all for how they're simpatico with this line of thinking.
You're always tweeting. What do you make of people's reaction to you responding to fans? And if you think something, you send it.
Yeah. I just think people are still upset that I went to the Warriors. And a lot of people who are Cavs fans, who enjoy watching the Cavs beat y'all before, which is a lot of people. I didn't realize that until I got there. A lot of people enjoy seeing y'all lose in 2016.
That's facts.
And a lot of those people were upset that we were so good. And they're still upset because you do the same shit on Twitter. Damian Lillard does the same shit on Twitter. CJ McCollum does the same shit on Twitter. We all do the same shit on Twitter, but for me, it's a problem. I mean, I chalk it up to just me being so good at what I do and playing with a team that was so great, and we fit so well. Nobody likes a great thing. And
I think he's mostly right. I think also you've shown to be very thin-skinned over the years. And here's the deal. In life, people respect assholes. At the end of the day, Donald Trump, it's another asshole that people respect. Just is my way. Jordan, asshole. Kobe Bryant, asshole. Think of somebody that's outside the athletic perspective. Just an asshole. Like my way, it's nothing else, and I don't care. It'll come to me. But people generally like people who stand on their principle and you like the shit or you don't. And that is what it is. People, Jerry Jones for the Cowboys, like, it's my way or you could take a hike. I don't give a shit what you don't like. And when you come off so thin-skinned, again, because you're so great, you're going to always have that contention because it's like people going to basically challenge you because you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth. And people respect. They may not like you. They hate some of the things that come out your mouth, but they respect you. I'll look again, like, let's go in the YouTube sector, like Kevin Samuels. He talk about shit the way he see it, and it's no negotiation on my word. But when you waffle back and forth, you do the Steve Harvey thing, people gonna poke holes through your process and your words. And so I think that's what KD is lacking to kind of see why people, they kind of, it's open season on somebody that great, which it shouldn't be that way because he's so great.
I guess I was the cause of that great thing because I came and joined. So it's way deeper than what I do on Twitter. And I understand that. And it's funny to me at this point because you can't erase what we did. You never gonna erase it. And you know you love watching us play. You know what I'm saying? So
I think it's the best era of basketball ever, in my opinion.
But that's really what it is. So many people still upset with me that I chose to play basketball for the Golden State Warriors, which is sad at this point because it's almost a decade later since I made that decision. You know what I'm saying? That's never going to stop me from engaging with fans because at the end of the day,
Hold on. Wasn't this like 2017? Hold on. Hold on, KD. Let me check something real quick. Oh shit. KD signs with Warriors. Hold on now. We need to. July 4th of 2016 is when you, bro. That's 5 years, bro. You say it's almost a decade ago, nigga. That's 5 years ago, bro. Oh my God, bro. What are you talking about, sir?
I'm only talking about basketball. I'm not diving into politics. I'm not telling you how you should live. I'm not flexing my money or my power or none of that shit on you. I'm just literally talking about the game, you know, and what I see. And I don't think it harms anyone.
I would love to see D-Book win a championship. But in my opinion, the finals does not compare to Warriors, Cavs, Warriors,
Nah.
even Warriors, Raptors.
All right, first, the Warriors Cavs was a great little trifecta trilogy, whatever you want to call it. I agree with that. Like that was must see TV. I didn't watch a lot of the finals this year. It did nothing for me. Warriors Raptors, no sir, nobody watched that shit. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Nobody give a shit about their finals, man. But no, Warriors Cavs was a great trilogy, man. That was great. That was, even if you didn't like either team, the storylines was just like it was so captivating, man. So that's 100% on point. Warriors, Raptors, nobody gave a shit about that, bro.
Do you have any regrets about that, knowing that we probably would have won 5 more championships?
Nah, I don't have any regrets at all. I felt like we did exactly what we were supposed to do. And I wish it would have three-peated because that's rare. And
I gotta stop before they comment. That's a funny ass comment. Kyrie was flat. KD decade is 5 years. I gotta get a Dom DeMarco on that. That's a great comment. Yeah, man, that's a good comment. You get a Dom DeMarco for that.
But I don't have any regrets at all because I feel like if we just stay healthy, the Nets, we had a great chance to finish it too. So
that's true.
No, I mean, being hurt for that year really changed my perspective on everything I was doing and everything I did before. I looked at that time with playing with the Warriors as so special to me, but it was time to move on.
So now
I'm gonna stop in the middle, man. I'm just saying, if you're liking what's going down, man, you can hit the Cash App, you can hit the Super Chat. Excuse me. I also got again a great interview coming with Coach Alvin Brooks of the Baylor Bears, the world champion Baylor Bears, and his players are doing well in the summer league and stuff, man. I got a great interview coming tonight in about 5 hours. So y'all, hey man, I'm trying to give y'all that content y'all need, y'all deservingly need. Let me quote my boy DJ, going forward. So if you like what's going on, man, don't hesitate. The stuff is scrolling on the bottom, so you know what to do.
You're in this space with the Nets, and everybody has made this big deal about Kyrie and his beliefs and him missing games, and just like we all do, he got his shit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are now saying that is what's going to cost y'all ultimately.
This is a great transition right here because a lot of people do question Kyrie's overall psyche, his mental balance, as it were. I think this is a very, very good question to ask, especially coming off of what they just were talking about.
Reaching where y'all want to reach, what do you make of that?
I mean, I just think people don't like Kyrie because he wanted to leave Cleveland and he wanted to leave Boston. I don't think it's any deeper than that. He does.
Not necessarily. Kyrie Irving is my second favorite player in the NBA. Kyrie Irving don't do himself no favors with his comments. And again, he's very aloof. He gets very agitated with people who are not as smart as him. And I understand that because I am too. People are as smart as me. I get agitated when they ask me dumb shit. And that's Kyrie. Kyrie just has a very poor poker face. He has his emotions on his sleeve. When he deems, again, that you are not his intellectual equal, it's going to be a bad time, man. And what you learn is, me being in sales, you got to humor people on their level. And Kyrie, I think that's his Achilles heel, as it were. So it's not just the fact that, I mean, his first betrayal was betraying LeBron. We know how the LeBron sexual roll out here in these streets. Your Uncle Shay Shay, your Nick Rice of the world. So that was his first sin. But then him not going to Boston and delivering that team to basically prove that he was worthy of leaving LeBron, that was the second knife in his rib. That was, open season to start criticizing him openly. You know what I'm saying? And then him going to the Nets and just kind of being Kyrie at the higher level as far as him being older and more aloof. That's the third dagger in his ribs. And so I think it's a culmination of all that, not just as simple as KD trying to put it, but that's his teammate, and I get it. And I just talked about it, man. You don't throw your homie under the bus, man. You gotta be congenial about it. So I'm not mad at his answer whatsoever. But I'm just gonna call cap on the sentiment.
He doesn't harm anyone. He hasn't said anything that's disrespectful to anybody. His game is beautiful to watch. I just think people don't like the decisions on where he chooses to play. And they sort of amplify everything because everybody in this league has their shit. They may say something.
I don't think nobody was mad that he went to the Nets after Boston, bro. Well, they were mad he left Boston the way he left because he said he wanted to be there forever. So it's a little deeper than that. It ain't just the fact he left. It's what he said before, and then he started acting like Kyrie, which is very agitated, very aloof. That's what kind of sets people off on him, not necessarily the actual decision.
Then over a course of 6 months that everybody may not agree with. That's just the nature of our business. When you're that good at what you do, everything is a little amplified. And sometimes it's a little extra. So what Kyrie does, especially in our building, nobody is making a big deal out of it. Just like a lot of shit we did in our building, we didn't give a shit if Clay missed practice. Who cares? Like, as long as you're there for the games, as long as you healthy enough to play, like, you didn't give a shit. Like, when you and coach cursed each other out, literally as soon as the practice was over, it was cool. Like, so it's like everybody.
And that's again, guys, what I led in with, when you do that stuff in house, that shit happens. Especially at that level, that happens. You don't do that shit in front of the public because the public is gonna say any and everything because they don't understand code. They don't understand that you handle stuff outside of their vision because they may act like they want to see it, but they don't know how to understand it. So I gotta say that as we going forward, man. Shout out to Rap God, man. Always loyal to the channel. I appreciate you, brother. Peter says Kyrie mentally isn't there. He's all on basketball. I have a hard time disagreeing with you, man. Kyrie all over the place, bro. Kyrie is all over the place. Kyrie isn't the worst teammate, like old media man. No, his teammates love him. Problem is Kyrie, just to the outward effect, he's just not very good with dealing with the media, man. He gets agitated when people aren't his intellectual equal, and you gotta learn how to deal with that faction of people a lot better, in my opinion.
We're mature enough to understand, like, we come to work, we handle our business, and you be who you are.
Family, you have no kids. You're now 32. I'm 31. I got 3 kids. I'm 31, so I took a little different route.
You're OG now, man.
But you have no kids. Why? Do you want kids ultimately? Do you not want kids?
I mean, that's a big commitment for one, and I always felt like,
bro, this is a woman question. What the fuck does it matter how many kids you do? That's like you pull up to the family reunion and your auntie, when you gonna give us some nieces and nephews? Like your mama, when you gonna give me some grandkids? What kind of question is this? Oh, let's continue.
Like, I was just really zoned in on my work and my alone time and my free time. Too much for me to like lock in on something like that, And eventually I do want that, but the older I get, I think is the better because I'm maturing more and knowing myself more, understanding my situation a little bit more. So if I were to invite someone in or combine my life with another person, it'd be perfect at this time, as opposed to me 10 years ago. I wouldn't know what to do. So I think I'm as long as I wait, it's only gonna be for the better.
Do you ever worry that the longer you wait, your kid won't understand who Kevin Durant is?
I'm glad.
What does it matter? See, this is this mama boy mentality shit, dude. When your kid, whenever he decides to have a kid, his kid's gonna be well taken care of. His kid don't have to freaking play basketball. His kid does not have to know what his dad was, and that's all he knows is that he's well taken care of. His dad, he'll learn his dad is famous and all that shit. Draymond thinks like, well, my kid need to watch me play inside the game because ESPN like to pan to the kid and show the kid watching. No. That's called pageantry. That's not nothing substantive for what it is to rear a child and bring him into this world. Because let's be honest, when you have kids early on that high of a profile, you're having kids probably with a thought. You're having kids with a woman. Ask PJ Washington this shit. You know what? I might make a reaction video. And I think bundle of Brittany Renner, I think she is fine as hell. I actually got a chance to meet her. And I said this before. I'm going to drop the pictures of that took with her back in like 2015. She is good as advertised. She wears a lot of makeup, so you can see the makeup on her face, but that body is on point, just like that in real life. However, she is the type of motherfucker. I'm sorry, those type of motherfuckers out there for your seed. Like they want your kid and they want to live off of your legacy. When you get older, you understand the move and pick a more woman on your program. And KD's approach, is more wise. Now, I'm not saying nothing wrong with having kids at a young age. You pick the right woman, awesome. But when you're picking these thotties, like NBA players do all the time, I think we all understand that, or entertainers for that matter. It's not a good thing to have kids early just so you can kind of train them up when you're young and have a fun time and all that shit like that. All that's cool. But no, the more prudent way is to wait until you reach maturity, like we talked about earlier in this live. And then you understand how to properly raise your kids where you're not wasting their formative years with your bullshit, with you've been on the road and you letting basically the woman do all the work. This is the better way to do it, to raise a more quality kid from a life standpoint, not just from a future basketball player per se. So I think, but Draymond thinks with that woman mind, in my opinion, with this topic.
I won't understand. Because I don't want him to have to feel like he's pressured in this bubble to do what I did,
That's who y'all can tell you this prophecy. I swear to God, I did not watch this interview at all. There you go. With wisdom comes a different perspective.
And as long as I'm playing, like this bubble is always going to be about making it to the NBA. So if you see a little KD out here, nothing but you expecting him to be a basketball player. So like, I don't know if my kid are even going to be that tall or fall into the game like I fell into it. Who knows? So I rather just me tell him, over time what I did. I don't want any pressure for anybody that's coming into my world to do what I like to do. I want to explore things on their own.
So what's next for you? You gotta.
Now I will say too, you still gotta. And I give LeVar Ball a lot of credit for this. You still gotta let your kids understand that you need to figure out what you're gonna do at an early age. That might not necessarily be basketball. LeVar saw it fit that I'm gonna teach my kids the business of basketball since they can start breathing, and that's all they're gonna work on. That's how you teach. And I make the connection of like in the old world, the samurais, stonemasons, blacksmiths. You taught your kids at a young age, like, this is what you're doing every day. And that's how they became so proficient at that in the old world. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that's a great practice too. So I'm not a big, now, if you are as affluent as KD's going to be, I understand you leave the room out there for your kids to kind of just figure it out. I understand that. But it's for us regular people, it's better that we understand, like, we got to kind of assess where our kid is at and teach them a trade, a few of them at a young age. So whatever shakes out, they were prepared for it. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Let's move forward.
Probably 10 more years left of hooping. I hope so. What comes after that? Have you gotten there yet, or you still just so locked in on basketball that it's just that?
Definitely want to stay involved in the game. I'm learning so much now. I don't know where I could use it at. Coaching, GM, ownership.
No, sir, you're too emotional. You would not preside over no shit like that. You are way too emotional. Not that you ain't smart enough, because you are. Not that you're not congenial enough, because you are. You way too emotional for that, in my opinion.
I feel like I'm gathering so much knowledge that I could be useful in any part of this game. But outside of that, I have other interests in tech world, media space,
there you
art,
go.
All of that stuff.
There you go.
I enjoy it.
You are a tech media art guy. Yes. That's you.
During my leisure time, I want to get involved in that at some point. But for now, you know what I'm about. You know what I enjoy to do every day. So until that time is up, then we'll see what happens. But I feel like I'm setting up stuff on the back end of things that I can have options.
That's good.
I think people look at us and they say, "Oh man, you play basketball for a living. You should be happy," which is great, right? Like, you love basketball, I love basketball. Being able to do that and make the type of money we make is incredible.
Absolutely.
But with that comes a lot of fucking scrutiny, comes a lot of headaches. What is the happiest you've been as a professional?
I don't even like to use the word happiness. That's just a fleeting feeling. It can just go so up and down. I don't want to chase that feeling. It's just not a...
Boy, you cooking now, KD. You cooking. Yes, that's a flighty feeling. And brothers watching this stream, this is what a lot of men go wrong, trying to make a woman happy. Because women naturally seek happiness. They seek, something that feeds to their emotional level of understanding of things. So they want things to feel good. That's why women love holidays and shit. That's why on Mother's Day, women expect to get that overt treatment, and men understand, like, yeah, I know I ain't getting shit for Father's Day. You understand what I'm saying? So you have that resolve. That shows, again, your maturity. KD getting that, man, because you got to understand that if you're pursuing happiness, love, as it were, it's gonna be a lifelong journey. But when you understand discipline, when you understand like milestones, you understand legacy building, then it basically, the game that he's talking about that's slowing down on the court, it slows down in life too. And that's what KD is entering. And I'm glad to hear him say this, because he's entering, year 33, and that's usually the enlightenment year. And you can look from an esoteric standpoint with Jesus Christ, Dionysus. There's about 17 different entities that 33 has a lot of meaning. And brother Kepper just let him know what he's affiliated with. And that number resonates in that faction as well. So you got to understand, KD's entering a great level of understanding, and I think that's a very, very good thing. Very good thing. Appreciate you, Rap God, man, as always, bro. Appreciate you, Young Vern. Always good to see Young Vern in the chat. So yeah, man. So let's go ahead. I think we're about at the end of this, but I do want to accentuate what he just said. That was a very great line.
The efficient way for me to live, I feel like just having peace and really simply just enjoying being alive every day is the best place for me to be. I don't want to be happy and sad. Like, I don't even want to have to go through that. I just want to just kind of flow through life. I experience so much. I just want to take on every experience for what it is and enjoy it in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to chase happiness, so I just try to stay even.
I respect that. Appreciate it, bro.
Man, that was incredible talk.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No doubt.
That's Chip. It's a wrap.
This is going to be an incredible interview, by the way.
Right.
This is going to go crazy.
There it is, man. So in my closing thoughts on this is you're watching a man get to his full level of understanding of self. And I think that's a very important part of brothers when they get to their 30s. That you got to understand your purpose, understand where you want to be, how you're going to get there, and what's it going to take to get to that next level. That's what a lot of us need to understand, because a lot of us just kind of float through life and hope some great situation tethers you to a great outcome. And reality is life is long. And if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a choice, if you don't have a sensible approach, you're going to be the victim of circumstance in a lot of different ways. And it's not going to bode well for you, man. It's not going to bode well. So smart people understand that life is a continuation of processes, seeing things through from beginning to end. And so that seems to be what KD is. And I would love to see Draymond get interviewed because I wonder where his perspective on life is. Because, again, as I let in, he's a very emotional guy. And I just want to know where his resolve in life is, because the way he is, man, that personality type can be that guy who goes for broke in the NBA because over some woman or some shit. You understand what I'm saying? Because he's reckless with his tongue. So I wonder that, but, the interview ain't about that. He more or less was interviewing KD, so I'll leave the evaluation right there. So I'm very proud of where KD is as an athlete, as far as on the court and mentally. And then I'm looking forward to see, what he has going forward, man. So between the games, that gave great insight to the man and thoughts behind the man. Absolutely. Because, that's what we want to see as older men. I know I look at my demographic. I get more like 25 and up on my channel, that's preferable for me. That's perfect. So I do like that. So yeah, I like to see the insight of what the man is, and that helps me further assess when I see things on the court. Okay, he said this. So when I see him react on the court, I'm saying, okay, was he talking? Was that cap, or is he applying that to like how he deals with adversity? So, and that's what it is. And like Vern said, life's a journey. Best be prepared. Hey, what they always say, man, you better be ready so you ain't got to get ready. We've all seen that come in so many facets of our life, man. And so that's all I got on this, man. So if y'all liking these, man, please like the stream on the way out. Subscribe if you have not done so already. All those things help. And again, I got my interview with Coach Alvin Brooks from Baylor University, world champion Baylor Bears, coming down in about 4 hours. So y'all be ready for that too. I'm gonna put the preview out shortly. So until next time, I'm gonna let Kendrick Perkins and my boy CN take us out.
I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon. Shout out to
Hoop Jargon.